Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the most successful things ever created, universally praised for simply being good. But is it good? I'm not entirely sure. Thus I figured it might be a good bit of fun to just forget everything we know about this game, throw our blind praise to the side, and actually have one final critical look at all that is GTA 5. So as you probably know, this game takes place in Los Santos, a hellhole somehow even crazier than its real-life counterpart, where showbiz rules the world when people are occupied with sunshine, selfies, and the odd bit of systemic corruption. We've got three protagonists to deal with. Michael, a retired bank robber in a midlife crisis whose family life makes his Sopranos seem functional, Franklin, a gang member looking for a better life, and the unhinged psychopath that is Trevor Phillips. I've clocked approximately 2,000 hours of 5's gameplay across its various releases, which, with a bit of quick maths, equates to roughly 1.2% of my life. Key problem with that is, curiously enough, I don't actually like this game very much looking back on it. If you're wondering, if you don't like the game, how could you possibly give it a fair critique? I said one final critical look. Critical, not fair, so shut up. I'll get to GTA Online in a minute, but anywho, you may not believe it, but this game has a story. Rockstar may bury it on the last hub of the launcher, but I can honestly swear to you, these characters are not here just randomly sitting in their lawn chairs as 30 hours of gameplay ticks by. Is it a good story? Let's investigate. As mentioned, there's this weird throuple in the Nile of protagonists, with the game focusing mainly on Michael's story, with the other two built around the things happening in his life. Quick summary. 9 years before the main timeline, Michael and Trevor used to rob banks together, pulling scores left, right and centre, right up until the moment where Michael betrays their crew, bending the game's physics and faking his own death. Cut to the modern day, where Franklin works car repossessions for a dodgy salesman, by accident ending up repossessing a car belonging to Michael's son. So now they're best friends, but unfortunately, poor old Michael's got some anger issues. After an unfortunate turn of events, Michael is now in massive debt. Michael apologises, promising to repay his debts in monthly installments with due interest. Just kidding, we go robbing. Now, the Fib, with whom Michael faked his death, don't like this for many obvious reasons, and plot twist, his old pal Trevor sees the news and recognises him and tracks him down, and he's pissed. But the Fib want Michael to do some favours for them, in return helping to keep Michael's cover, and he gets his two new best friends to come along. This happens a couple thousand times as the single overarching plotline, with lots of minor shenanigans thrown in between to keep you from noticing. And honestly, I can forgive them for that, because these missions are pretty good. They're paced really well, and they're effectively a compilation of everything cool you've ever seen in a movie thrown into a video game. Fortunately, that does make them a bit stale in a weird way. Don't get me wrong, they've got a great variety of gameplay elements. It's just, I don't know, they remind me of whipped cream without sugar. It's alright while it lasts, it's not offensive, but it doesn't leave me wanting more. Anyway, here's a quote from Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser. Don't think about the graphics or the music or whatever, just think about the whole. Was the experience engaging? No, and that's largely due to the narrative being about as dodgy as Amanda's push-up form. There are so many points in this story where the characters pretty much just accept that, oh well, guess we'll have to do this next thing now.
We hit the bureau for you, Dave. I'm done.
Yes, I saw that. Meet me at the court center.
Is this the fifth favour we've done for you? This complete lack of narrative glue makes it so that you can throw as many awesome, action-packed movie sequences in here, but it absolutely kills the immersion required for these moments to feel impactful. You need that shred of build-up and basic necessity for me to feel cool while crashing into a plane. Sure, it's cool in and of itself, but it's more like, oh cool, instead of, whoa! And I must say, these characters don't help. I get it, it's a GTA game. Characters are going to be a bit wacky, bit out there, bit wherever the hell this is, but for some reason, these people are just not interesting. Also, the side characters are alright, but these protagonists, man. Firstly, these guys are really weird morally. Weird argument to make, I know. GTA games aren't exactly philosophy class, but an example. In the prologue, Michael is briefly held hostage by a bank security guard. Trevor promptly shoots the man in the head, to which Michael responds very poorly. They continue to mow down dozens not even a minute later. 2 missions later, as Franklin, you end up in a shootout alongside Lamar, which Franklin does not take well. What? These three guys seem to display hardly anything above surface level emotion with little to no moral thought or otherwise to anything they do, which makes them almost impossible to relate to. And it makes it so that nothing in this story has any weight to it at all. These chaps hardly have any values, nothing to fight for, and it makes it seem like everything is meaningless, just another hurdle standing between them and a leisurely afternoon? That and their complete and utter lack of personal development. These guys genuinely have no character arc. They do not change one single bit from beginning to end, which makes it feel like, emotionally, nothing ever happens. They got so close with the Dr. Friedlander segments, they actually give you a piece of what's going on inside Michael's head, let you hear his inner thoughts, but it never goes anywhere. Instead of actual character development, they use the inflation of your bank account as the core of what the story builds up to. So instead of anything more interesting, money is used as a plot device. Not my words, by the way, Dan Houser once again. That also, coincidentally, means that it's more or less impossible to earn any once you finish the game. Sure, you get plenty once the story's done, but if you buy one too many cars or want to buy the $150 million golf course, yeah, good luck mowing down 6 million peds. I've also got a few quarrels with the style of this game. GTA is famous for its satire, and I'll admit it's pretty good. It gives me a right chuckle every once in a while, but 5 satire feels a bit directionless. Feels like they threw a lot of things at a wall and everything stuck, which, as impressive as that makes the sheer quantity of jokes in this game, if everything is a joke, nothing is funny. With that, my submission to I'm forcing this is deep, but what I mean is satire, the way I see it, needs some contrast. It needs someone walking around it at all looking confused. But in this world, it's also saturated and undisturbed with its comedy that it's rarely funny or particularly artful. I guess in a bizarre, absurdist way it is, but I definitely find myself enjoying it less because there's no palate cleanser, and that's a shame because it makes things that are pretty comical on their own just blend into effectively static. At this point I can pretty much hear you screaming, "But please Sam, is there nothing good you see here? I love this game." To which I would respond, "Shut up, this is my video, I can say whatever I want." But let's move on to this game's claim to fame. It's absolutely bonkers open world. And, brace yourselves, I am not a fan. Los Santos is huge, but it's more vast than intricate. It looks ugly and it's spaced out really poorly with barely anything of substance. Sure, there are some cool novelties for 5-minute entertainment, but a passionate game of golf only makes up for so much of the useless emptiness that is 2/3 of the bloody map. Outside of the main missions, there's barely anything to do. Side missions are, for lack of a better word, on crack, but they're more just optional side missions in the same vein as the main story. They don't add anything other than just more crazy. There's things to do, but nothing of actual substance. And that wouldn't be such a problem if they weren't so implicitly insistent on showing you how big this map is. But if you're gonna do that, just give me 1 or 2 banks to rob or something, just in free roam, or randomly generated assassination opportunities, I don't know, something other than just getting haircuts and tuning cars ad nauseum. You're also not really able to go into any buildings other than clothing stores and weapons dealers, and it just makes it all feel lifeless. In a weird way, it feels like, yep, you've seen everything there is to see, just another day in this dull world. So in that sense, I suppose it's very realistic, but my mental issues aside, the sandbox aspect of this game is actually really good. It's pretty cool that you can just take any type of vehicle and just go wild in whichever way you please. The animations and movements are all really smooth and great, which is impressive considering everything else sucks. Shooting feels dull and insignificant, all these weapons feel the same, driving requires no skill, which I suppose makes it more accessible, but also really boring, and there is zero practical difference between cars other than in the extremes. Menus are simply horrid, the internet is limited, and the search feature sucks, there is no shoulder switching, with way too many levels where you'd want it, melee combat looks like my old fights back in elementary school, they give you all these stats which barely do anything. For story missions, I hope you love hearing these characters talk, because they sure aren't interesting to look at. Stamina is stupid, it should be limited or tap-based, not though. The soundtrack is boring, if not intrusive, and the police are useless in capturing you, but they take forever to stop looking for you. The underwater controls are unintuitive and so fucking slow. Not to mention all the technical fuckery going on. Wouldn't even let me start GTA Online, which I had to manually go and fix. Which reminds me, oh yes, GTA Online. GTA Online is kind of weird, because it's just GTA 5, but online, with half the details cut and with the toxicity of a Modern Warfare 2 lobby. Most of what I said about story mode applies to online, except that, honestly, GTA Online can be a pretty good time when you've got some friends to mess around with. Unfortunately, no one loves me, and thus I'm left fending for myself, making it impossible to do anything other than heist because of Rockstar's crackdown matchmaking. At any given time, there are approximately 50 to 100,000 players in GTA Online, so why the fuck can't I get 3 people to join me in a heist setup, Rockstar? Not to mention, with as much money as it makes them, GTA Online just feels cheap. I'm not quite sure why, but all the generic interiors, lack of player dialogue, and faded black doorways probably don't help. Not to mention that half the GTA Online player base is apparently part of the fucking IRA, with bombs going off left, right and centre. But even I can see GTA Online does have that element of replayability that the single player lacks, which can make it pretty addicting to make your way up the capitalist food chain. In fact, GTA Online is so addictive that the Reagan administration would have probably outlawed it. So naturally, it's been re-released more times than opium, with a copy on every major Nintendo console. I'm actually okay with that. You see, this video itself is a remake of the very first video on this channel, except there I just rattled off a bunch of interconnected bullet points nicked off the Wikipedia page, and it somehow got a ton of views. Don't bother watching it. Anyhow, I like that games can be this accessible. Sure, it stings having to pay another 20 quid or so to play on a new platform, but man, I wish I wouldn't have to bother with using my Xbox 360 to play GTA 4, and I hope that statement ages poorly. My grief aside, I hate this game so much that I went through another 40-hour playthrough just to get some gameplay and whatnot to tell you how bad it is. And actually I had a great time. But isn't that a bit hypocritical of you, you may ask? Yes, but is it still worth playing? The final verdict. It all depends on your own preferences. I think there are more enjoyable experiences out there, but if this is what you like, go ahead mate, I ain't stopping you. Then why ask in the first place? Because I fucking hate all of you. I could have simply titled this video, I am sick and tired of this fucking game, but you wouldn't have watched it if I had. So congrats, you've been played. If you could leave some passive aggressive compliments down below, that would be appreciated. See ya.